Krishna Rasa Parum Tata Chanavatar Chaitanya Lila Vishtar Karino Do Nityananda Parabja Kadunarena Bhushito Vyakta Chano Buddhachincho Bhavanye Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindas Chaganai Saha Jayanti Bhatakas Ch.Ch. Sarvesham Gurunartino. So we are continuing this morning with our hearing of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Mahaprabhu is in Varanasi, the Mayavad capital. And yesterday we heard of Mahaprabhu's meeting with Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, the principal Vaishnavas in Varanasi. And a Brahmin, another Vaishnava Brahmin who was very attracted to Mahaprabhu, reported the wonderful activities of Mahaprabhu to Prakashananda Saraswati, who was the head of the Mayavad sannyasi group in Varanasi at the time. Prakashananda Saraswati was not very impressed and spoke critically of Mahaprabhu, seeing him as a sentimentalist and an upstart. Okay, so we'll pick up from there. Oh, and so then this Brahmin, he comes to Mahaprabhu and reports all of this to Mahaprabhu. Prabhu Dadashane Shuddha Hoya Chetarman Prabhu Age Duki Hoya Kohe Vivaran. The mind of the Brahmin was already purified by his seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He therefore went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and described what had taken place before the Mayavadi sannyasi, Prakashananda. Shuni Mahaprabhu tobe ishata sila, punarapi se vipra prabhure puchila. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mildly smiled. Oh dear. Can you close this door? Because I've got banging this end as well. Thank you. Okay. So where are we? Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mildly smiled. The Brahmin then spoke again to the Lord. Tarage jabeami. And it's interesting actually, there's multiple occasions in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Mahaprabhu is directly insulted. And every time I can think of Mahaprabhu's response, to mildly smile. Like we just heard the incident with Amog a few chapters earlier, and Amog was directly offensive to Mahaprabhu. On that occasion, Mahaprabhu just started laughing. Well, it wasn't a mild smile; he was just laughing. And now this Brahman's reporting all this criticism of Prakashananda. Mahaprabhu is mildly smiling. He is never disturbed. The Lord and the pure devotees, they are free from the contamination of selfish ego. So this is our disease, or at least my own disease, that we calculate the value of a situation on the basis of how our own interest is involved with it. So we don't have neutrality in that sense. Our own interest is involved in everything that takes place. So it is good or bad depending on how our individual interest is affected by it. So generally, if somebody is critical of us, then that will make us, at the very least, it will make us unhappy. If we don't become angry and revengeful and so on and so forth, at the very least, we will be disturbed to some extent. We will be unhappy. But for one who is free from that entanglement, personal interest, which creates a filter, a false filter through which we're viewing the environment in a distorted way, then our perspective, if we're free from that, our perspective will completely change. So Mahaprabhu is hearing this and he's completely undisturbed. He's amused. The Brahmin then spoke again to the Lord. Tar age jabe ami tomar naam loilo, seho tomar naam jane apane kohilo. The Brahmin said, as soon as I uttered your name before him, he immediately confirmed the fact that he knew your name. Tomar dosh kohite kode nameda uchar, Chaitanya Chaitanya kodi kohe bar. While finding fault with you, he uttered your name 3 times, saying Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. 3 bare Krishna nam naila tar muke, avagyate nam loy shuni pai duke. Although he spoke your name 3 times, he did not utter the name Krishna. Because he uttered your name in contempt, I was very much aggrieved. Ihar kadan more koha kripa kodi, tomadeki mukamor bole Krishna Hari. Why could Prakashananda not utter the names Krishna and Hari? He chanted the name Chaitanya thrice. As far as I am concerned, simply by seeing you, I am moved to chant the holy names Krishna and Hari. So this is the Lord's, who is Mahaprabhu, as Gurudev has pointed out. Mahaprabhu is the embodiment of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. What is the Maha Mantra? It is the names of Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu is the complete, full manifestation of the Maha Mantra as the combined form of Radha, Shri Radha, Krishna. So, we hear that the Mahabhagavat, Uttam, Vaishnav, highest caliber Vaishnav, they have that potency that that just by somebody coming within their presence, just by somebody seeing them, one is moved to chant the holy name. The name will descend within their hearts. Such is the potency of the Mahabhagavat. So the Lord himself, especially in the form of Mahaprabhu, which is the embodied form of the Maha Mantra, then he has that type of effect. He is attracting the name to descend in whomever comes within his vicinity. But this Prakashananda is very unfortunate. He cannot say the name Krishna. But he can say Chaitanya, and this is an interesting point because Chaitanya means consciousness. Chaitan means consciousness. So it is so conscious. So for Mayavadis, consciousness that is a favorite word. That is a favorite word to them. So he's very comfortable with saying the word Chaitanya, consciousness. But Krishna is more difficult for him. So this name that when Keshav Bharati gave sannyas to Mahaprabhu, this was the name that descended in him, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So this is a very profound name, because what does the name mean? Krishna Chaitanya, that was Mahaprabhu's sannyas name. Krishna Chaitanya, what does it mean? Tell me. Yes. Exactly. Krishna consciousness. Because he has come to arouse Krishna consciousness in all souls. So his name must be Krishna Chaitanya. So this Brahman, he's puzzled. Like, when I see you, just to see you, I can't help myself. I want to chant the name Krishna. But why is it that in the course of my discussion with this Prakashananda, he couldn't say the name of Krishna once? He said Chaitanya 3 times, but he couldn't say Krishna. Prabhu kohe mayavadi, Krishna apadadi, Brahmatma Chaitanya kohe niravadi. Mahaprabhu replied, the Mayavadi impersonalists are great offenders unto Lord Krishna. Therefore, they simply utter the words Brahman, Atma, and Chaitanya. So these abstract, impersonal features, consciousness, soul, Brahman, they can say this, but anything denoting a personal expression of divinity, that is difficult for them. Ataivatar mukhe naise Krishna nama Krishna swarup duito saman. Because they are offenders unto Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is identical with his holy name, the holy name Krishna does not manifest in their mouths. Nam vigraha swarup tine karup, tine bed nahi tin chidanandarup. The Lord's holy name, his form, and his personality are all one and the same. There is no difference between them. Since all of them are absolute, they are all transcendentally blissful. Deho dehir nam namir Krishna nahi bhed, jive dharma nam deho swarupe vibhed. There is no difference between Krishna's body and himself, or between his name and himself. But as far as the conditioned soul is concerned, one's name is different from one's body, from one's original form, and so on. So in this world there is this estrangement between the self, the true self, and the physical expression. There's that nice phrase of Goswami Maharaj's, the biological expression of the soul's delusion. Now, this is the body. Biological expression of the soul's delusion. So there is this deep estrangement, separation between the true self and what is the outer encasement that we're identifying with at present. But in the liberated world, whatever is all form there is an expression of divine substance. So it is all of the same quality, absolute quality. So everything in connection with divinity, it is all existing on the same qualitative platform. So Krishna's name, his body, his pastimes also, just to hear about Krishna, talks about Krishna. Although they are expressed in different ways, they are qualitatively of the same substance. And now this is a famous verse from Padma Purana, quoted many times by our gurus. Nama Chintamani Krishnash Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Binatvan Nama Namino. Nama Chintam is glorification of the name. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Binatvan Nama Namino. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of it being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Nama Chintamani Krishnas. The name of Krishna is Chintamani, conscious, wish-fulfilling, divine nature. It is a touchstone, as it is sometimes rendered. can fulfill all of one's desires. Chaitanya rasa vigraha. Rasa vigraha. Rasa we know. Divine, ecstatic. Well, this Srila Sridhar Maharaj just pointed this out. The word Chaitanya is qualifying this rasa, because rasa is something that can be, this word rasa, right? Rasa, ecstasy. Like this. It can be used in a mundane context. It can be used to describe material pleasure. So it's saying vigraha, rasa vigraha. Vigraha is also used to describe the deity. So it means like the embodiment, the personified form. Rasa vigraha, the personified form of rasa. But then this is qualified by the previous word, Chaitanya. So this is a compound here. Chaitanya rasa vigraha. Chaitanya means, as we said, consciousness, conscious. And so it indicates on a spiritual platform, not pertaining to this material world. So pure spiritual rasa, he is the embodiment of that. Pure spiritual pleasure, ecstasy. He is the vigraha of that. Purna Shuddho. Shuddhas is pure. So Purna is full, complete, pure, Nitya Mukto, eternally liberated. So again, emphasizing the name is beyond any touch of this mundane world. And Bina Twan Nama Namino. That the name and the named, they are abhina. Abhina means non-different. One and the same. So the name and the named, they are one and the same. So therefore, it's not so easy to take that name. It's not so easy. Ataiva Krishna nam deho vilas prakritendriya gaya nahe hoy swaprakash. The holy name of Krishna, his body and his pastimes, cannot be understood by the blunt material senses. They are manifested independently. Krishna nam, Krishna guna, Krishna lila vrinda, Krishna swarup sam Satchidananda. Krishna's holy name, transcendental qualities, and transcendental pastimes are all equal to Lord Krishna himself. They are all spiritual and full of bliss. And now this verse is the verse that we've been discussing quite a bit these last few weeks in our Zoom meetings. Atashi Krishna namadi nabhavid gayam indriyai sevan mukhe jivada swayam eva sportyada. Material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Well, in translation is a little bit confusing, but Sevan Mukhe is saying, through the service mood, the attitude of service, the mood of dedication, then that name, that form, those qualities, pastimes, they may be attracted to descend and to reveal themselves within the plane of our experience. So this is super important verse, very very crucial verse for those who are in, let us say, in the line of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because if we don't appreciate this verse, we will become imitationists. If we don't understand, we will become sahajya, we will become imitationists.
Can I get you to repeat that?
Atashi Krishna Namadi. We've been discussing this in the last few weeks in our Zoom meetings. Atashi Krishna Namadi, Nabhaved Grajam Indriyai, Sevan Mukhehi Jivada, Swayameva Sporchada. Mahaprabhu is making this point here that it is not so easy to take the name of Krishna. And there's also an important verse from the Padma Puran which he quoted, which is stating that the name and the names, they are non-different. So we may think we can vibrate the name, but we cannot, because the name is of a transcendental nature. The name is non-different from the Lord Himself. So we can vibrate some sound with our tongues, but that is not the original divine vibration. And then this verse, Atashi Krishna Namadi, Nabhavid Gradyam Indriyai, Sevan Mukhe Jivada, Swayameva Sporchada. That the Lord's name, form, qualities, pastimes, they exist beyond the jurisdiction of our plane of sensory experience. And how is it possible to attract that name to descend? Sevan Mukhe, only through Sevan Mukata, the service attitude. Then the Lord may be attracted to reveal, to give revelation within the plane of our experience. So it's a very, very crucial verse for us. This has come from Srila Rupa Goswami, this verse, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Brahmananda hoite Purnananda Lila Das, Brahma Gyani Akashiya Kore Atma Vash. The mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes, which are full of bliss, attract the jnani from the pleasure of Brahman realization and conquer him. So here's your answer. We were discussing this yesterday. Don't worry. The mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes, which are full of bliss, attract the jnani from the pleasure of Brahman realization and conquer him. And there are many examples of this, and maybe Mahaprabhu is going to give them right now. Yeah, he gives a few examples here. And there's another one of Shukadev Goswami. How does that verse go? I don't know if he quotes it here. Gurudev and Srila Sridhar should always quote that. How does it go? I can't remember. But Shukadev, the Nirgun, how does it go? How does it go? How does it go? Shukadev's expression. It's very nice. I can't remember. But saying, because Shukadev, he was a Brahmavadi, right? But his father, because his father knew that he was the person who had to give Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadev used to wander the forests naked, you know. He was really a Brahmavadi.
Didn't he leave the care of his parents immediately after birth?
He was born fully grown, it said, 16 years old. He came out of the womb, and he just ran. And he was completely detached from everything, just seeing Brahma everywhere. And so he ran to the forest to meditate. And then his father, because his father, right, Vyasadeva, he had compiled the Vedic literature. But he understood something was missing. He had not described Krishna Lila, he had not described the final conclusion of the Vedas. He was giving some Brahman conception, some Paramatma conception, a little bit of Bhagavan conception, but nothing was made clear in an ontological way. And so his guru Narada gave him chastisement and instructed him, now you have to give the clear truth for the real seekers of truth. And so then he felt the necessity to write Srimad Bhagavatam, but he also knew that he wasn't the right person to give it to the world, because Krishna Lila is very difficult to digest. Krishna is what is he? He's a womanizer. He's a thief. He's human. He's human-like. So who will believe him if he says that this is the supreme absolute truth? This will be very, very difficult. And he thought that I'm people know me as being acquainted with the ways of this world. I'm a grihasta, or not exactly a grihasta, but had relationship with women and etc. So my people may not take it from me, but my son, he's fully detached from this world. Anybody can see that. He doesn't even feel the necessity to wear clothes. So, just to see him, for anyone with some type of discernment, just to see Shukadev, they could recognize, he's not living here. He's living in another world. His eye is completely vacant of any material discrimination. So Vyasadeva could understand, I need my son. He's the one who can give this to the world. If he says it, then people might listen. It was just in the tip of my tongue, that verse. Padi, that's it. Pi nargunya uttama shlokali. Padi, how does it go? Padi nishtito pinargonya uttama shloka lilaya. It's just dancing there. Not quite catching it though. It's being elusive. Padi nishtito pinargonya uttama shloka lilaya is the first line. So he this was his challenge, to capture his son from his Brahman conception and to give Krishna Lila to the world. And so first he had to find him. So he called 2 woodcutters and he told them, when you're out in the forest, because he thought he'll be somewhere in the forest. So while you're out in the forest cutting wood, then can you chant this verse? And he gave some verse about Krishna Lila, glorifying the nature of Krishna Lila. So he told them, please, while you're in the forest doing your work, chant this verse. And maybe he told them, and maybe you will come across some boy and he'll ask you about where you got that from, and send him to me, something like that. And so these woodcutters, they did as Vyasadeva had instructed. And sure enough, Shukadev heard that. He was wildly attracted. He was disturbed from the equilibrium of his Brahman conception. And inquired, where did you get this from? And they told him. And so he went running back, went running to his father. I want to hear more. And then so Vyasadeva instructed him, and then Srimad Bhagavatam came out from him. So this is an important point, because it demonstrates the purity of Krishna Lila. That even those who are situated on a platform, parinishthito pinargunya, he's saying that I was already perfectly situated within the nirgun plane. I had already transcended anything of this world of mundane duality. And from that position, I was attracted. So therefore, what attracted me could not be of a mundane nature. And then there were two other. These are like the three principal verses which are cited in this regard, as a demonstration of this point, the purity of Krishna Lila. And then there were two others here. Okay. So it's kind of interesting, what Mahaprabhu's, he's going quite deep here. Because this Brahman's concerned, this Prakashananda, he's so offensive and he can't take the name of Krishna and he's critical of you. And Mahaprabhu's first responding, explaining that it's not so easy to take the name of Krishna. And then he's giving these very hopeful verses, describing persons who are absorbed in the impersonal conception, who are attracted. And now we have a verse spoken by Sutta Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam. Swasuka nibrita chetas tadvyudas tanyabhavo pyajita ruchira lila krishta sarastadiyam vyatanuta kripaya yastatva deepam puranam tamakila vrijinagnam vyasasunam natosmi. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the son of Vyasadeva, Shukadeva Goswami. It is he who defeats all inauspicious things within this universe. Although in the beginning he was absorbed in the happiness of Brahman realization and was living in a secluded place, giving up all other types of consciousness, he became attracted by the most melodious pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. He therefore mercifully spoke the supreme Purana, known as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the bright light of the absolute truth, and which describes the activities of Lord Krishna. So this is Sutta Goswami, who is like a disciple of, I don't know if he's literally a disciple, but considering himself as a disciple. Let me see. I don't think he doesn't refer to him as his guru here. So he's paraphrasing this expression of Shukadeva, which I've just quoted. So Bhagavatam, there's like 4 sittings of Bhagavatam. It's all very complicated. Vyasadeva, first Narada gave the inspiration and like the introduction, kind of the synopsis of what it would be to Vyasadeva. Then Vyasadeva spoke to Shukadeva, and then in that sitting at was that Naimisharanya? Or was that, maybe Naimisharanya was Sutta Goswami. Yeah, I think Naimisharanya was Sutta Goswami. What was it called? Was it Sukratala? I don't remember. But anyhow, Shukadeva Goswami, then he gave the grand presentation in a public setting with Parikshit Maharaj there present on the brink of death. And then in that assembly was one Sutta Goswami. And then that Sutta Goswami later retold Bhagavatam. So that's Narad to Vyas, Vyas to Shuka, Shuka to Sutta, and then Sutta to the assembly of thousands of sages at the onset of Kali Yuga. So those are the 4 sittings of Bhagavatam. And then after that, then Vyasadeva put it into writing. And he presented the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Sutta Goswami, he's also a narrator in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and so he's giving this expression here. Brahmananda hoite Purnananda Krishna gun ataiva akashoye atmadamirman. The transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna are completely blissful and relishable. Consequently, Lord Krishna's qualities attract even the minds of self-realized persons from the bliss of self-realization. Now this verse that we're coming to is another one of the. This is a very famous verse. Often you'll hear it referred to as the Atmarama verse. So if you hear anyone say the Atmarama verse, you think, yeah. Yeah, I'm in the know. Yeah, the famous Atma. Everybody knows. And later on in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a very elaborate explanation. Mahaprabhu gives 18 explanations of this verse. Because if each word has so many different, because Sanskrit's such a broad language, so each word has so many different meanings. And then if you combine those different meanings, there's so many different permutations, and then you can, so the verse takes on so many different meanings. So earlier on, we heard a description of Mahaprabhu giving 18 explanations to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is before Sarvabhauma's conversion. So Sarvabhauma, he gave, I think, 9 explanations. And then Mahaprabhu, leaving those 9 aside, he gave 18 explanations on top of that. And then later on, Mahaprabhu gives instruction. Oh, we're coming to it in the next few chapters, actually. Well, soon enough. Mahaprabhu gives 2 months of instruction to Sanatana Goswami. And at the conclusion of that instruction, Sanatana Goswami asks Mahaprabhu, I heard that you gave these wonderful, unique explanations of the famous Atmarama verse to Sarvabhauma. I would really love to hear those explanations. And Mahaprabhu says, I don't know what I said, I'm just a madman, I don't know what I said in that moment. And Krishna, he was wanting to give something to Sarvabhauma, I don't know. But since you're requesting, I can try. And then Mahaprabhu gives 60 more explanations. Those are all, it's a little tedious going through it, it's all here. 60 more. No, it's, some parts, because there's a lot of grammatical stuff in there, so some parts are a little tedious. And then there's some very beautiful parts too. So then he gives 60 more explanations, and then so at the end of that, Sanatana's like, his mind is exploding. He's so happy to hear this, and he's expressing to Mahaprabhu, and like, wow, this is so wonderful, this is so amazing. And Mahaprabhu tells him, I am one crazy man, you are another crazy man. And actually, I'm just an intermediary. Krishna wants to bless you. And so, this is how this is coming. And now, by your association, another explanation is coming in my mind. So he gives 61 additional explanations there. So, anyhow, just to say here that it's quite a prominent verse, this Atmarama verse.
So you give nearly 100 explanations of the Tirabhava.
So this is the verse. Atmaramas from Srimad Bhagavatam. Atmaramas cha munayo nirgranta apyurukrame karvantya haitu kim bhaktim itambu ta guno hari. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desires are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has such transcendentally attractive features. So this is the principal meaning of this verse. Those who have transcended this material plane, have zero attraction to this plane, are Atmarama, means they find satisfaction within the self, because the soul has Ananda inherent within it. The soul, there is some bliss to be had within the self. It's not that it's just completely dry. We will sometimes say it like that, because in comparison to Krishna, then it is like that. But it is, it is a state of bliss. So Atma-rama refers to those who find Rama, pleasure, within the Atma, within their own self. So even those persons, they are also attracted to Krishna. So demonstrating the purity of Krishna Leela. I'll just read a few more verses. Esa Brahu Krishna Charan Sambande Atmarame Manhare Tulasi Gande. Apart from the pastimes of Lord Krishna, when tulasi leaves are offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, even the aroma of the leaves attracts the minds of self-realized persons. So just to hear the scent of tulasi being offered to Krishna, that also has such great power of attraction. And now this is another primary verse, which is often cited in the context of this discussion. Tasyada is describing the chatur, what are they called? The chatu, the four kumaras, the chatu san, are they called? Is it the chatu san? Yeah, I think they're called the chatu san, the four kumaras. The sons of Lord Brahma, right? They appear as these small child saints, although they are very old. Tasyara vinda nayanasya padara vinda kinjalka mishra tulasi karanda vayu antargata swayivadena chakara tesham sankshobam akshara jusham apichitta tanvo. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulasi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead entered through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages, the Kumaras, they experienced a change in both body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Ataiva Krishnanam naise tarmuke mayavadi ganjate mahabahir muke. Because the Mayavadis are great offenders and atheistic philosophers, the holy name of Krishna does not come from their mouths. So they say that the Lord has no body, has no form. So how can they take the Lord's name, which is non-different from his form? Bhavakali vechite ame aila okashi pore rahaknahi navikae loya jabo gore. I have come here to sell my emotional, ecstatic sentiments in the city of Kashi, but I cannot find any customers. If they are not sold, I must take them back home. Bari boja loya aila kemane loya jabo alpa swapa mulya paile etai vechibo. I have brought a heavy load to sell in the city. To take it back again is a very difficult job. Therefore, if I get but a fraction of the price, I shall sell it here in the city of Kashi. Etaboli se vipre atmasata kori prate uti matora cholila gora hari. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that Brahman as his devotee. The next morning, rising very early, the Lord started for Mathura. Okay. So I think we'll finish there. So I'll just add that for anyone who's in some anxiety, this is not it's not a closed case. Mahaprabhu does eventually give his mercy to the Mayavadi sannyasi. And they do, in the end, they are able to chant the holy name of Krishna. Even though maybe that's a spoiler.
Is that was the big assembly of Mayavadis?
Yeah, I believe that's when Mahaprabhu returns, because he stops in Varanasi on his way to Vrindavan. And then when he's coming back from Vrindavan, he stops again in Varanasi. And it's there that first he goes to Prayag. When he's coming back, he goes from Vrindavan to Prayag, and there he meets Rupa Goswami. And he instructs Rupa Goswami for 10 days. And then from Prayag, which is now called Allahabad, but no, I think they changed it back to Prayag something. Modi changed it again. So we can just call it Prayag then. So he goes from Vrindavan. When he's returning back to Puri, he stops in Prayag, he meets Rupa Goswami, instructs him for 10 days, and then from Prayag he goes to Varanasi again, and there he meets with Sanatana Goswami for 2 months and instructs him. And that's when he gives those Atmarama explanations. And then I believe it's at that time when he has this meeting with the Mayavad sannyasis, and they cannot help but come under his influence. And their hearts awaken in Krishna prema. So it's not a hopeless case. Because otherwise it does feel a bit sad somehow. Okay. Well, whose turn is it to sing? Is it your turn? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Tadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunatha Ch.Ch. Gosai Kodi Charana Vandana Jaha Hoite Vignana Vishakha Janui Sanadasa Pancha Bhada Bhadare Vada Pancha Rasa Ajara Charana Sevi Radha Krishna Parivajakaacharya Ashtotar Shatashi Srila Bhakti Sandar Govinda Deva Goswami Maharaj Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Deva Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai